On the 9 o'clock news tonight, the day after the budget, is our newsmakers. Piyush Goyal, Minister for Coal and Power, also joined by Rajiv Gowda, Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress. Piyush Goyal, a day after the budget, you've seen all the analysis, and while the budget has got applause for the fiscal prudence, the staying away from any populist measures or SOPs, the big questions the opposition are asking is, does this prove that there was no windfall gain of demonetization? It was a lot of pain, but where's the actual gain of demonetization? That's what the budget has completely ignored.
Well, I think the opposition is in too much of a hurry. If we had probably done too many things in this budget, there would have been, on the contrary, crying and screaming hoarse that this is an election budget and whatnot. The fact is, this government has worked steadily over the last 3 years, and we wish to continue our process of sustainable infrastructure, sustainable framework being created, which will hold the country in good stead. This budget is a continuation of that process started nearly 3 years ago. Demonetization was one big step in our fight against black money and corruption and terror financing and drug financing. We would have thought everybody would have been happy about it. It seems the whole country supported us except some opposition parties.
Rajiv Gowda, your views?
Well, the budget is a balance sheet, right? It tells you the costs and benefits, how much is spent, how much has been earned, etc. And demonetization, the biggest thing the government has done in recent times, we did not get a balance sheet. We are just hearing the same, and Piyush certainly just now did not give us that balance sheet. What we can infer is that demonetization has caused tremendous damage, which they are trying to control through measures such as increasing Manrega, decreasing taxes, decreasing taxes also on medium, small and micro enterprises. Why are those measures required? They are required because there's been a huge impact on urban migrant labor who had to go back to their villages, and they are demanding wages under Manrega. So you had to increase that. Consumption has sunk, and that's why you're trying to give a little more money in the hands of people so that they can spend and try some temporary efforts at revival. So when you look at the larger picture, you can see that the government is trying to make a virtue out of necessity. They have no other option but to try and heal the wounds that they have caused as a result of demonetization.
Mr. Goyal, the question being asked is that the failure of the government perhaps is on job creation, given your own Labour Bureau numbers. Now, those are not of the informal sector, that's of the formal sector, which says that job creation is at a low of over the last 5 years. Has the budget addressed the issue of job creation adequately?
Very adequately. In fact, the thrust of the budget has been on job creation. Only sadly, Mr. Gowda will not be able to appreciate that the world today is a changing, evolving world. With the advent of fourth generation technology, with innovation taking center stage, the nature of jobs in the future are going to change. What is e-commerce? What is Uber? What is Ola? All of these things, the new norm is going to be one of entrepreneurship, self-employment. Government jobs and large manufacturing jobs are gradually disappearing. The major jobs come in the medium and small sectors, which is our thrust area to support small and medium industries. Also, you see the increased allocation of funds to the farming sector, 10 lakh crores of concessional loans. Mudra loans nearly double the target. Startup, Stand-up India being promoted. The whole concept of jobs in the country is undergoing a very massive change. Infrastructure is the way to go. Housing is the way to go. These are the multiplier impact areas which create new opportunities directly and indirectly.
Let me ask you, Mr. Gowda, on job creation. Did you agree with Mr. Piyush Goyal that the fact is that the jobs being created now are no longer of the old large manufacturing sector? So perhaps the Labour Bureau numbers are not reflecting adequately the number of new jobs being created in new areas in India. Go ahead, Mr. Gowda.
Well, then get your Labour Bureau to fix the way they collect these numbers. Essentially, the Labour Bureau, your government's Labour Bureau, has shown that job creation under your government in the last year is less than 1.5 lakhs. that is a steady slide. When you say magically new kinds of jobs are going to be created, what is magical is the way new jobs are generally being destroyed under this government. We look at what will also create jobs. It is private capital as well. And what is the story with private capital? You find that credit growth is at a 60-year low. You find that gross fixed capital formation is down in the negative territory. You have banks that are very, very stressed. So there is nothing happening there in terms of job creation. Startup is a very nice phrase to use, but look at the number of startups that have actually folded in the last 1 or 2 years. So these are not magical solutions to the job creation problem.
The electoral funding reforms, and that's, I think, been welcomed by many, saying that the Prime Minister is putting this center stage. Even Rahul Gandhi has said that he will support the government in anything he does to clean up electoral funding. Did the government go far enough? What about the critics who have said that Piyush Goyal, that the treasurers of various parties will all be find a way to evade this as well? Do you as a treasurer welcome these new moves?
I'm delighted, because ultimately political party funding has to be clean, has to be legitimate. The Bharatiya Janata Party prides itself. It's the world's largest political party. We have crores of members all across the country who support us, and we are going to encourage all of them to start donating through digital means.
And let me just ask Rajiv Gowda that the ADR released reports showing that the Congress actually had the highest number of funds from unknown sources. They said as much as 83% of your funds in the last 10 years between 2004 to 15 came from unknown sources. The BJP had 65% from unknown sources. So in this, both the BJP and the Congress have a lot of cleaning up to do. Rajiv Gowda, go ahead.
I think we as a nation have to clean up the electoral financing, electoral expenditure system. There is, there are costs of democracy that have to be paid, and those have to be paid in an open, transparent manner. The Congress supports and will work with the government and all other political parties in improving the system. We have issues regarding how to pay for the media, which is a huge spend going forward. And so state funding is something that should have been touched upon in this budget. It's not yet clear what this electoral bond mechanism is, how it's going to work. But while it may clean up the whiteness, improve the whiteness of the money coming into the system, it provides anonymity, which removes the transparency of who donated to whom, which is something that is necessary to understand, to trace the money and see who is influencing what policy, etc.
Right. Piyush Goyal, Rajiv Gowda, thanks very much for joining me on the 9 o'clock news. Thank you.